Good morning. It's a beautiful Friday today. We've got the Escort Mexico in the oven. We're going to get some of our NOVOL for classic car anti-corrosive hybrid epoxy primer on it. It's all prepped up now. Let me take you in the oven and show you. Right, so there it is, all ready for its primer, all prepped in 120. There you can see, like you can see, it's got, you know, plenty of shapes, plenty of work to do to it. So this is just really the first stage in our NOVOL for classic car process. There's the new doors, we've got them all prepped. We had to alter a few of the edges just to get the doors to fit in the apertures nicely. We had to weld some material on here just to get this to gap up properly, but they're all fitting quite nice now, so they're all ready. There's the body shell, you can see, all lovely and clean. We've extensively panel wiped this as well, just to get any contaminants off of it. And when we get to this stage, it's really important not to touch it with your bare hands, because the oils from your skin will start this corroding, and that's the last thing we want. So yeah, that's ready. We're going to get a couple of coats on that in a minute. Let me just take you back into the mixing room. So this is our hybrid epoxy primer. This really has simplified the whole system, to be honest, and NOVOL really designed this for cars slightly newer that have galvanised steel panels. So this is the actual primer, and the same primer for all three processes. So the first one is our anti-corrosive hardener. So that's the first one that we use, that we do all our work on top of. So a couple of coats of that. Then we've got an isolator primer. So when we come to finishing off with our last filler primer, we like to cover any bare bits of metal with this. So we just spot primer them in, let that flash off for a while, and then we go to our last hybrid filler primer. So that is the process. You know, it's really simple, quite straightforward. So I'm going to get suited up, get my air-fed mask on, some overalls, and we'll get in there and we'll get some primer on. So we're going to put this on bake now. So we need to get a panel temperature of 60 degrees. So we'll set the booth at about 70. And it needs to bake at that temperature for 1 hour. That's quite an important process with this classic car primer. So we're going to stick it on right now, go and have a bit of lunch. That's already looking good. We're waiting for the rubbers to come on the lock. So for now, we're going to put some balls of masking tape in the door shut and take the door so we can just get the gaps about right. The other one on. We make it look easy. It's not. Anyone would think we've done this before.
We'll have to take this after living.
Well, don't stretch it. Right, so that's all the gaps looking pretty good. We've still got to body work them all. It's a little bit big this side, but as you can see, this wing's all been altered and played about with. So, you know, we might be able to, when we get the catch, we might be able to get just the front of the bonnet over a little bit. But you can see up here, that's pretty even. This has had a scuttle in it, I think, at some time, because you can see this is really low to the bonnet here, but it's pretty level with the wing, so we're going to have to do some work in that area. The doors are all fitting pretty nice, all gapped up pretty good, but still plenty of body work to get it to look how it needs to look. All the boot gaps look okay. I think the boot just wants to go back a little bit. It's just a tiny bit tight on that joint there. But like I say, until we get our locks and our boot seal and all the bits and pieces, then we can get it all set up. But you can see gaps all looking pretty good across there. It's a little bit low in this corner and a little bit big there. And as you can see, it could just go forward a tiny bit. But that's not terrible. And this door as well, you can see where, you know, it's had some work there. But we can deal with all that. You know, the basics to start with are good now, so we can just start getting on and doing our body work. Right, so this primer's been on here for longer than 7 days now. Normally it's open for 7 days and you can go straight on this with your glass fibre or your body filler. But in this instance, we'll have to key this just with a red scotch. We don't want to take too much of this off, leave as much on as possible, and yeah, just get on with the body work with it. Right, so the first stage of this process is to get some NOVOL for Classic Car elastic glass fibre on these joins. We'll use this as sort of our deep filler, and it'll also cover all this up. You know, I know a lot of people go on about lead. To us, lead is a little bit old hat, and we've still had jobs in where we've taken the lead off and there's loads of moisture and rust underneath the lead. This is just a modern process and a modern way of doing it, and this glass fibre stays very elastic as well, so if there is any movement, you know, it doesn't crack or anything. So let's go over to the mixing bench. There's Duncan looking very what's the word, Duncan?
Probably discombobulated at this present moment in time because I'm looking at the camera and I don't like it.
He loved it, really. Right, so this is our NOVOL for Classic Car elastic fibre. We're going to mix this up now. We're using one of these. I quite like these for this because we can just throw a sheet away and it's simple. So we always, I say always, I'm just going to show you this now, we actually weigh our amounts, but once you've been doing that for a little while, it just becomes easier and easier to judge the amounts. You know, it's really easy to get this quite wrong. So it's 100 grams of this paste to 2 to 3 grams of the hardener. So we're going to zero our scales. You know, like I say, if you do this way for some time, it just becomes easier, and it's really easy to judge what everyone would call a golf ball and a P, but then obviously when those ratios get different and you get to bigger amounts, it's more and more difficult, you know, to get this accurate, and it's a massive part of the job. You know, this is sort of the foundation of what we're working off of, so we've just got to get it right. So let's just go, let's stick that on there. So we've got 107 grams on there at the moment, so we're going to go about 156. So to that, to 100 grams we'd add 2 to 3 grams of the hardener. So for this we're just going to add about 4 grams to this. So we'll zero the scales and we'll show you roughly how much that is. Yeah, that's 2.2 grams. Yeah, 4.2, that'll be fine. So we're going to get this mixed up in this bowl. This has actually got a colour changing indicator, just to know that you've mixed it correctly and when it's gone hard. I'll leave a link to the data sheet for this in the description below, so you can have a read through that and see all the details of it. But just make sure we just mix that really thoroughly. Now on the Escort we've got you know, quite some shapes on an Escort, so sometimes we use a rubber spreader to put our filler and our glass fibre in. So I'm happy with that. Right, so first application. You know, a lot of people sort of get this a little bit wrong, so rather than just getting a load of it and wiping it in like that, the best thing that you can do is wipe some in and then sort of wipe it out really thinly like that, you know, and then what this does, it just starts getting some of the resins on the panel just to help bond it all. And rather than putting loads of thick material on, you're better off to just build it up in some thin layers. So we're just, you can see where this rubber spreader comes in here, because we can just get it right in the shape where it needs to be. Right, so that's the first bit on. The thing is that's really nice about this as well is it knocks down like body filler, so we'll just rough the shape out of this, then we can start on our body filler. We're going to go around, do all our glass fibring first. You know, rather than attacking the whole car, we'll probably just work on this side. When you come to try and do the whole car in one go, it can just become a bit overwhelming. So, you know, we'll just concentrate on trying to get this side in glass fibre and then start trying to get some body filler on it. Right, afternoon everybody. So we've got my wheels off my van in the oven. We've spent the day, morning, prepping them up. They're just going to get a wet on wet epoxy, and then they're going into Ford magnetic grey. We're just going to change out one of the aluminiums in it for the extra course, and we're going to put a little bit of blue pearl in them just to give them a bit more sparkle in the sun. This is how we like to set wheels up. So basically we set them up on here, and then we can roll them like this as we paint them. We don't do lots of wheels, none of us really like doing them, but to be honest, these BMW wheels off my van are really quite straightforward to paint, and they're quite easy to prep. Get some colour on them, and then we're actually going to lacquer them with our NOVOL Premium Flow clear coat. Duncan's actually going to come in here and paint them, so I'll get a little bit of video of him going through the processes. Right, so Duncan's just given them a last clean, a tack off and an anti-stat. Seemed to work really well on aluminium and plastic, the anti-stat gun. So he's just in the middle of that. We've got some NOVOL Spectral 385 under epoxy wet on wet in the gun in black, because they're going a dark grey colour, so it just helps coverage. So yeah, they're all ready to go. Final clean up. Duncan's still got to do the 2 drop coats on them, and then we're going to put some NOVOL for Classic Car Premium Flow clear coat on them. What we'll actually do with these, we'll put 1 wet coat in the back, then we'll lay them flat, and then we'll get the front of them painted so they're looking really nice. Then we get the tyres on tomorrow, get them back on the van. I'm actually going away Friday morning to NOVOL in Poland. It's their NOVOL for Classic Car annual classic car show, and I've been asked if I will be a judge for the weekend, so that's quite a special thing for me. I'm really looking forward to that. So we'll get some footage of the cars out there, and yeah, it should be a good weekend. So anyway, Duncan's going to get the drop coats on these. That's it, drop coat's done.
Did I look really professional? Dunno.
Of course he did. Always look professional, Duncan. Right, we're going to leave them for 5 minutes, then we'll come and get some clear coat on them. So Duncan's all ready. Premium Flow clear coat. Like I say, we're going to put 1 wet coat in the back of them, then we'll turn them over so we can paint the faces nice and flat. guys, so a little workshop update today. Everyone's just gone home. I've got the oven on bake because I'm baking the wheels for my van. So we're just going to give you a little show round and explain what's going on. So there's Russell's Mark 1 Escort. As you can see, we've got all the panels on it. We've just been roughing out a bit of glass fibre down the side of that. So that's all gapped up, just down to bodywork now. So this Audi, we've got all the panels on it and that's all sort of gapped up now. We've got a little bit of work to do to the bottom edges of the doors, so once we've done the bit of welding on them, we can get them bolted on the coal, gapped up, and then it's down to body work on that as well. Obviously we're not painting the inside of this, so we're just doing the outside, all the door shuts, the engine bay. So yeah, that's coming along quite nice. So our next sort of like fabrication project is the little Alfa Romeo Cup car. So if you remember, we've got a new quarter that we're going to put on here. They're the doors that we got, because the old ones had all the guts chopped out of them and some of them made a horrible job. So that's another pair of doors. We're going to be changing this roof. We've got a second-hand one that we've cut off of another car. So yeah, that's our next fabrication project. These are the doors off of the little TVR. So we've been getting on with that over the last couple of days, starting to get the bonnet shaped up here. So yeah, there's an acre of work on that bonnet. You know, it's got shapes all over the place. The tub ain't too bad, but having said that, you know, to get it looking really flat and lovely in the colour it's going to be in, it's going like yellow. It's just going to still take a lot of work to get it looking nice and flat. What else we got in? So the van, we've been getting on with a bit of filler work and body work on the van. We've bonded these reinforcers back in the side here. So we're just waiting for the epoxy adhesive to go on them. That's why we've got this bar clamped across there, just to hold them in place, because it was just kept sucking in down here and we'd forgot to put them back. So we've yeah, cleaned them up and got them all back in. My van is pretty much finished. We've just painted the wheels for it, so we're waiting to get the tyres back on them. They can go back on. So we've freshened all these handles up. And we've painted them with some black solvent base coat and some clear coat, some matte clear coat, some of our spectral matte clear coat. So we've done all the black bits, the handles, this number plate light, all these rails we've redone, these little caps, just to freshen it up really. So yeah, really pleased with how the van's looking. We put this little split around the front of it as well. So that's nearly done now. I need just to get it out of the workshop, to be honest, because we've got so much to get on with. As you can see, we've got 4 cars all in the NOVOL for classic car anti-corrosive epoxy primer. So we've just got a load of body work to get on with. Lots of filler, lots of blocking and prepping. So yeah, we've got lots going on just with those few motors in here at the moment. Okay guys, so hope you enjoyed this. Please give us a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out a lot. Thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next one.